This baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're gonna see some serious shit.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 35 of the Take One podcast. As always, I am your host, Michael Bish, and I am super excited for today's episode because it's jam-packed. Got a lot to talk about today, and I have a very special guest, a first-time guest on the show, Jess, but you may know her as Discount Final Girl. How are you doing tonight? Super excited to have you here finally.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well. I'm very excited for this episode. I think it's going to be a really good one. I know I'm finally happy to be able to join you and talk about some of my maybe controversial opinions. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I might have a couple controversial ones as well, but that's going to be super exciting to dive into. Scream 6 trailer dropped today. I saw that you put out your reaction, but I did not watch it yet because I kind of wanted to get your reaction live on here first. But I will watch it. So super excited to hear your opinion on that. And then Megan 2 was 2.0, I think it's called, was announced a couple days ago. So yeah, want to dive into that and a bunch of other stuff as well. But as a first time guest on here, I kind of just want everybody to kind of get to know you a little bit. So how long have you been in love with the horror genre, and what was your first movie that kind of got you there?
Yeah, so I've been in love with the horror genre as long as I can remember, which has been a little tough for me because I grew up in the South with a very strict conservative family. So you can imagine their reaction when I went to them and said I wanted to go see whatever newest horror movie that was coming out in the theater, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I was a little bit older, and I was actually at my grandparents' house, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep because creepy grandparents' house, right? And Blair Witch Project came on
Ooh.
TV. I feel like that was a lot of people's like gateway introduction into horror, and it was
Yeah.
definitely mine.
I love that. And I'm gonna disappoint you a little bit, but you're not gonna be the first person I disappointed.
I'm sure.
It's not that I don't like the Blair Witch Project. It is, and this sucks for me because I hear so many people talk about these great movies, but I get sick when it comes to first person like type of movies. So like when the camera's like all shaky and it's from somebody else's perspective, like it just makes me nauseous. So like I can't watch movies like that. I can't play video games like that. So it fucking sucks, honestly. Especially because I want to watch the Blair Witch Project like really bad. And I've tried and tried, and I don't know, it just makes me sick. Same with like Paranormal Activity. I just can't do it. But I know that movie is so well loved.
Yeah. I feel like that's like a big critique when a lot of people like approach found footage the first time. They're like, it's just a bunch of people like shaky camming the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, that's valid. I get it. It sucks. But when you're like 8 and you're watching a movie at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's pitch black outside, like it's
Uh-huh.
going to scare you no matter what movie it is, honestly. Mine just so
Hell
happened to be
yeah.
Blair Witch Project.
I love that. I love that. And I listen, there's no doubt in my mind that they're great movies. I just wish I could watch them. I keep trying, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't make it through because of that. It's I don't know. So, you've had a YouTube channel for a year now, 2 years. How long have you been on YouTube?
About like a year and a half, probably a year pretty consistently. I kind of like teeter back and forth. I need to be better about it. But yeah,
Mhm.
about a year. And I love it so far. I think it's such a great like creative outlet.
What made you want to start that?
Not having a creative outlet. I just felt
Yeah.
like I felt like I've always been a creative person, and unfortunately I feel like I was one of those people that burned out pretty young, like in high school, and I'm definitely not in high school anymore. So I just felt like I needed to do something for me without being judged by family, by
Mhm.
neighbors, by friends. And I found such an amazing community on YouTube and on social media, and I just wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, I love that. I was talking about it last week on the podcast as well, because I feel like most of the people I have on the show I've met through social media, and I've met through Instagram mostly, or just that horror community that was, kind of formed over, online. For me personally, not a lot of my friends enjoy movies as much as I do. Like, I definitely want to be there to see the new releases. I'm gonna be there to watch, whatever it is I want to watch that's coming out. And my friend group just isn't on that level with me, especially when it comes to horror. So it's good to like connect with people online and to form that relationship online. I felt like that is the community that I feel like we are a part of online. Is like super loving and like super generous, and it's been like really, really good to find. Like
Yeah,
it was highly unexpected, honestly.
it honestly was, because I mean, I totally feel you. Like my friends, whenever, they'll ask for a movie recommendation, but then they'll follow it up
Mhm.
like really quickly with not a horror movie, please. And like, sure, I can do that, but like I didn't really have a lot of people to talk about what I truly loved and what I was passionate about until I found you guys and found like kind of my friends on Instagram, and it was such like a surprise, like you said, to find so many like nurturing and
Uh,
grateful people just to, share a few Instagram messages with. So it's been really great.
what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
My favorite horror movie of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing. Have you seen it yet?
Interesting. Well, you're on the show, so yes, I have seen it.
Okay.
And I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like a gift and a curse, because like I've missed out this entire time of not watching, in my opinion, a perfect movie. Like it's depressing, honestly. But then again, I was messaging Kevin after I watched it, and he was like, "Man, what I would give to watch that for the first time again." So I
Yep.
guess it was a gift and a curse. But I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was absolutely amazing. And for me, Halloween's my number one. But I definitely think The Thing is John Carpenter's second best film. Um,
Yeah.
and, like it's just it's really it's there. Like it's perfect to me. And there are only a few movies out there that are perfect, but John Carpenter's The Thing definitely fits that. What do you think it is about the movie that makes it your favorite?
I think what I like about it is first, like the isolation of the
Yeah.
setting, like Antarctica. You can't get more isolated than that unless you're like in space or something. Um, Kurt Russell, like 10 out of 10. He's so great. And honestly, just the way that they treated the thing, like you don't
Hmm.
really see it in its full form. You don't know who it's going to be. So, like when they're doing that, like amazing blood testing scene,
Yeah.
and someone's blood jumps, you had no idea it was going to be that person because the camera was
Yeah.
focusing so heavy on this other person's face. So I just loved the way that it was filmed, it was directed, and so much thought and care had been put into it. And I just like nothing is, it's going to be hard to beat that for me.
Has anything come close? Anything at all for you?
Um, I love Scream, the original Scream from
Love that.
1996. And I guess like more recently, Hereditary. Hereditary scared the absolute shit out of me. Like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like it, whatever. It terrified me to the point where I couldn't drive home by myself.
Yeah, fuck that. Like whoever doesn't like it, like I would love to have a conversation and understand why not, because please, that is like perfecto. And I watched it actually, I've seen it before obviously, but I watched it the other night for the first time in like a year. And it was like 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, and it still fucking gives me the creeps. Like
Oh,
it is so scary. It still hits.
yeah, it hits every single time. And like whenever I'll like watch it with a friend or like suggest it, they'll be like, Jessica, what are you talking about? Like, you need to appreciate some things, because I would literally chop off my left arm to be able to watch this movie the first time again. So it's just ridiculous. But yeah, I think, you know, Scream and Hereditary are like close after.
Very good choices, and Scream is a very interesting one, because you'll be back on for 2 more episodes that I'm super excited to have you on, Scream 2 and The Roundtable. What not to really spoil anything, but is Scream 2 kind of, like, up there for you as well as far as, like, in the franchise at least? Like, do you
It
enjoy, like,
is.
most of the movies in the franchise?
I do. I will say like Scream 3, not my favorite, as it kind of I feel like is with a lot of people. Scream
Yeah.
2 is like it's very good. Of course, it's not going to touch the
Of
first
course.
Scream.
Of course.
Like nothing ever is. But I like it better than Scream 5. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel, yeah, I just like how different it is. And I don't know, but who knows? Scream 6 looks pretty promising to me. So,
Yeah, and I can't wait to jump into that. Scream 2, I don't know, I love it every time I watch it. Like, it just grows on me as well. Um, Nev Campbell, like, she rocks the hell out of that short haircut, like,
yeah, she does.
perfect,
Yeah, she does.
perfect. She's just a badass in general. So, um, yeah, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be really exciting. Um Now, I want to talk about obviously Megan. It was announced that we're getting a sequel for that movie. But before we jump into that and Megan, what was your favorite horror movie of 2022? Because for me personally, I feel like 2022 was really good for the genre. There were a lot of movies that I really loved, and like when I go back and I look at like my top 10 list, there were so many movies that actually most of them that I just wasn't expecting to be as good or really capture my attention. Like X, I didn't expect for that to be as good as I thought it was going to be. Same with Pearl, and they just, yeah, met all my expectations, like blew my expectations out of the water. So I thought it was a really good year for the genre. But what ended up being your favorite movie um, from
So,
from last year?
yeah, yeah, my favorite movie was Nope. Favorite
I
horror
love
movie.
that. I love that.
See, yeah, and it's something that really grew on me, and I talked a lot about it with Kevin too. Um, just how subtle the horror is in that movie, and some scenes just really starred in my nightmares for the past few months. And
Oh wow.
it really like the scene where they're inside Jean Jacket, that whole business. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's freaky as fuck, and I really appreciated Jordan Peele's ability to just do it balls to the wall and give us an actual like good blockbuster.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good as well. I will say after like walking out of the theater, I didn't exactly know what to think. Like I know I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it, but I don't know. And then it just set with me, and it was just one of those movies that it's one shot so differently, so beautifully. Like it just stuck in my mind for days and days after. So I went and saw it again and liked it even more. And I just actually ordered the steelbook for it, so I'm super excited to get it and rewatch it because I haven't been able to rewatch it yet. So I'm excited to watch it again. But it's like one of those movies that definitely grows on you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just Jordan Peele in general, like his movies for me personally, especially with Nope, like it just stuck in my head.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. I can't, I feel like even people who didn't like it had so much to say about it. And I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
that says a lot in and of itself, like what fucking Jake Logan Paul like went on that whole like Twitter rant, right?
Oh
About like
yeah.
how bad it was. And it's like, okay, you hated it, but you're still thinking about it however long
Yeah.
after. And you're wrong, by the way, but still.
True. Very
Uh
wrong.
Yeah, but Barbarian was a close second for me. I really loved that one. But what was yours?
Terrifier too.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just I wasn't a big fan of the first one. Um So I wasn't really excited to see the second one, honestly, and it's just one of those. I don't know. I just think Art the Clown is really good. I will say it's not a perfect movie. I definitely think they should have cut it down a lot. I thought it was way too long, but I thought the acting was a lot better, and I think for even still a very small budget film, it did really well. So that was really exciting to see overall. I think the movie that shocked me the most, though, was probably Barbarian, just
Mhm.
because I didn't really know what it was about going in, And halfway through, or at least through the first act, I'm thinking it's one thing, and then it just switches up totally. And I don't know, it's different. I really like it. It doesn't apologize for what it is. And then the menu I thought was pretty shocking as well. I really, really like that movie.
Yeah, The
Uh,
Menu was number 3 on my list this last
nice.
year, actually. So I loved it too. I thought it was so fun. And like you said, like totally shocking. No one was expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Like,
agree.
like I just kept hearing people and like people talk about it. I didn't get a chance to like go see it in theaters or anything. So like as soon as it hit HBO Max, I watched it that night. And like for the first 15 minutes, I'm like, what is this? What is this? Like not that it sucked, but it was like a slow burn at first. And then all of a sudden, when I think one of the chefs just like, you know, hit that gun, like it just went
Yep.
like it just went from there. And it was amazing. I loved it. Um and I hope 2023 is the same in the way of movies just like shocking me in a good way, because I felt like I got spoiled last year. Like the two movies I was most looking forward to last year was Scream 5 and Halloween Ends, and flops in my opinion personally.
Yeah,
Um
I'll have to agree.
I'm not the biggest Scream 5 fan, but I would watch that a million times over Halloween Ends for many reasons. But still
Yeah.
still wasn't a fan of that as well. So I got hopes for Scream 6, and we're gonna jump into that here in a second. But what about Megan? Because that was the first movie that I saw in theaters this year. And I'm pretty sure for you too, because it's just not much out in January. So
Mhm.
how was that watch for you?
Yeah, I loved Megan. I thought it was everything that I anticipated, honestly. I didn't anticipate like a total bloodbath. I wish we would have gotten that. I think
Yeah.
we talked about it after, like, we wish it would have gotten that R
Mhm.
rating. It would have just taken it there. And I think the writer, Akilah Cooper, um, had like come out and said that there was a version that was a little bit more gory, and maybe we'll get that. But
Yeah.
hopefully, Megan 2.0 will get a little bit more gore.
I hope so. First off, the marketing for this movie was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of understand why they went PG-13 with it, but man, I just thought the kills had so much potential. So I definitely want to see if we do get the rated R. I definitely want to see that. I hope Megan 2.0 is rated R, but I don't know if I believe that it's going to be with the success of the PG-13 one. I liked it and enjoyed it a lot more probably than I thought I would as well. Um, I don't know. I feel funny about doll movies. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Like I enjoy the first two Child Play movies. Like they're okay, like they're good and okay. But if I'm being honest with you, like I don't go back and rewatch them a lot. Like I don't. It's just
Yeah.
not my cup of tea as far as rewatch wise. So I like the whole AI aspect of Megan. It was a little different, obviously, and I just liked her. Period. Like it, I think the movie worked very well because it embraced its. I don't want to say corniness, but it embraced what it was doing. Like it didn't try to go outside of its lane or anything like that. Um, one negative I do have though, and this I don't. This isn't like a Megan thing. It's a Blumhouse thing. It's showing everything in the damn trailer. Like I
Yes.
feel like most, if not all, of the great parts of Megan was in the trailer. Um, like that dance scene, even though it was short, and I thought we were gonna get a little bit more than that, we didn't. It was literally in the
Mhm.
trailer, and when the kid rolls down the hill and gets hit by the car, like all that stuff is in the trailer, and I'm like, typical Blumhouse. But that's I should have expected that. So, but I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah. I agree with you. Blumhouse, especially with the freaking Halloween movies, they love showing
Uh,
everything in the trailer. It sucks. It's annoying. You would think they would like know by now that we hate it, but they don't listen to us.
yeah,
They don't care. Um, but I agree. I mean, like, it's not going to be on a top list for me. I don't see it being one, but I have to appreciate it, and I think we all have to appreciate it because it's an original horror movie that
yes.
does something different and succeeded in what it set out to do. And I think that just opens a lot of doors for more original horror, and so I have to applaud it for that.
So Megan 2.0. what would you want? I'm guessing the gore, obviously. I think we can both agree on that. Anything else that you can think of that you want to see in this next one? Because I'll be honest with you, like I thought would be a good standalone film, but I knew with the success of it, there was just no way they were not gonna. It was just no way possible. Once I saw like the first weekend numbers, I was like, yeah, they're gonna announce the second one here soon, and I know I think the two main cast members are coming back as well. So that's exciting. I thought they did really well. But yeah, I don't know what I want outside of gore. What about you though?
I think, like you said, the two original like cast members, Allison Williams and Violet McGraw, I think that's
Yes,
their names.
yeah,
They're
Violet
coming back. So I'd like to see how their relationship has like evolved since the first movie, because I feel like at
McGraw.
the end we got a lot of maybe the little girl's gonna try and latch onto her aunt a little more. So I'd like to see like that relationship develop, and honestly like better side characters. I thought like
Yeah.
her friends in the lab were fine, but I thought the boss's acting was just not great at all. And like, what's up with that side plot of the guy like stealing all the shit and nothing happens? I don't
Oh yeah,
understand.
I know. I don't get
So
that either.
yeah, it just didn't make a lot of sense. So I'd like to see some of those like loose ends tie up and it really just condensed down to a really solid emotional story with less campiness. But of course, still like Megan, she's an icon.
Like I'm wondering if because they like you bring up a good point with him stealing that information, nothing really ever happened of it. I think it was Megan mentioned it or mentioned it right before she killed him. But I'm wondering if in the second one, if that information is out there somewhere and somebody's going to take advantage of that, and that's how we get Megan 2.0. I don't know. It's intriguing. But it was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job with that, and it was a good way to start 2023 for movie wise. What are you looking forward to this year?
This year, oof, Infinity Pool coming out on the
Yes.
26th of January. I'm very excited for that. Mia
Me
Goth,
too.
I think we're all excited to see her unhinged again.
Hell yeah.
Um, A Knock at the
Badass.
Cabin. I know she's such a badass. A Knock at the Cabin,
Mm.
which is based on a book, Knock at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I love that book. So I'm excited to see M. Night Shyamalan's return with that and Scream 6. But I mean, after that Evil Dead Rise trailer, man, I am so stoked for that.
Are you an Evil Dead fan?
Yes, yeah, I love
Yeah.
Evil Dead. I love the remake. I
I love
fucking
the
love the
remake too.
remake.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
it's so good. Like, I was thinking, like, is it my favorite remake of all time? Technically, no, because John Carpenter's The Thing is like technically a remake, but it's
True.
up there and it's really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited for all of those as well. Probably Scream 6 is what I'm really excited for. Which sounds like a bunch of disappointment because I was disappointed last year with my most anticipated one. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully that's not the case. Um, Maxine, I think we get this year, so I'm
Yeah.
really excited for that one as well. But yeah, hopefully it's a good year. And like just those surprise movies that kind of pop up. I know you just watched a recent one that everybody's talking about. Um, is it Skidamarink? Is that how you
Skinamarink,
pronounce?
yes. Yeah.
How was that? Because they didn't show it near me, so I hadn't get a chance to go see it yet.
I loved it. It's
Yeah.
very like controversial, but um I love analog horror. So
Mhm.
like horror movies that are not movies, but like shorts that are kind of produced independently on YouTube that are a little bit more, I don't want to say like creepy pasta y,
Mm.
but kind of feel like a nightmare or like a fever dream. And that's what Skinnering felt like to me. So I appreciated it and it scared the shit out of me,
Yeah,
frankly.
I had to ask about that one, because it is very controversial online. Like I see like people giving it 1 stars, then I see people giving it 4 stars or even 5 stars. So yeah, it's interesting. So I'm glad you like that. I think it's coming to is it Shutter or Blood? I think it's coming to Shutter soon.
Shutter on February 2nd, I think I saw
Okay.
today.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to watch that then. Yeah, so hopefully it's a good year for movies. Got a lot of great stuff to look forward to, including the trailer that we got for Scream 6 today. I was really looking forward to this. There's so much to talk about with this trailer. But I'm interested to know your kind of quick thoughts, overall thoughts, and then we can kind of dive into some things that really stuck out. But what did you think of the trailer?
So I loved the trailer. I was
Yes.
not a fan of Scream 5, like
Me
you, like a
neither.
lot of people.
Me neither.
um, it was just way too campy for me, way too meta. The acting wasn't great. The storyline wasn't tight either. But
Yeah.
I love the change of scenery. I think New York is going to be amazing. And Ghostface just looks more like Ghostface, like brutal. And I can't wait to see like everything, especially like the room of like relics from all of the other movies and all the other kills. Like, how fucking cool is that, man?
Dude,
I don't
yeah.
want to get my hopes up, but I feel really good about it. What about you?
Uh, again, in the same boat as you, I did not like the last movie. It sucks that Dewey died.
Yeah.
Kind of going into that movie though, I just kind of figured that they were going to kill one of the legacy characters, and it was going to be him. Just because he's like, I feel like outside of Sydney, just the next most best loved one. No offense to Gail, but it was always definitely Dewey. So sucks that he's not around anymore. But again, wasn't a big fan of that. One thing that really stuck out to me though in this trailer, which I really loved, one, it's super sick that Ghostface uses a shotgun in this movie.
Yep.
Um, I I'm upset just a little bit that we saw it in the trailer, but my reaction to it, like, because they didn't hold back, he fucking blew his head off. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was wild. So I enjoyed that part, but like a lot of the people last year that saw the movie, like all of the stuff that like the reviews that came out a few days early or a week early, they were all saying that it was, I tweeted this today, that Ghostface was as brutal as ever and it was super dark. And I walked out of Scream 5 not feeling any of those things. I thought it was the same old Ghostface, actually even weaker, honestly, from what I can remember. Like I don't know. It's just I did not feel what everybody was feeling or seeing what everybody was seeing. I didn't see the extra goriness. So I walked away from the trailer just like blown because I felt the brutality in this Ghostface just from the trailer. Like Ghostface looks huge. He looks like he's on a mission. I don't know. I just feel that brutality all throughout the trailer. So I'm really looking forward to that and hopefully what seems to be a tone shift in this sixth movie. So really looking forward to that. And as much listen, Sydney Prescott, Nev Campbell is my favorite final girl. Like she just is. I adore her and I commend her for, stepping away for the reasons that she did, whatever, whether it was compensation, whatever it was, I commend her for that. But I'm also super excited to see a movie without her and how that's going to go. And I guess seeing a movie not come down to the end with ending of Sydney Prescott, like her being like that target in every movie, I guess. Um, so it's going to be super exciting to see where they take it without her in it. But I'm confident based off the trailer.
Yeah, I agree. I agree like on all of those points. I think I said like some of the exact same things in my reaction because I'm like, besides Ghostface, Sydney is like the face of the brand. Like, she's the face of
Yeah,
Scream. She's everyone's favorite final girl. And so, how are they going to like take away that motivation from Ghostface that he has? Because the whole point is him going after Sydney, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
they're going after Sydney. So, I want to know like why now he's decided to go after Sam and like
Mhm.
her friends and everything like that. So I'm interested to see. I don't know how well they'll be able to pull it off, but I'm confident, especially with Kirby
Yeah.
coming back. I'm excited about that.
Yes. Team Kirby. Yes.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe Gail might be leaving us. I don't know,
It looks
but
like it, but
you know how they are with those trailers. So
I know. And again, that's probably kind of what I'm nervous for most in this movie because I think you mentioned it. I just wasn't sold for me personally on the acting in the last movie, and from the new cast. Not saying I don't enjoy them, but they just didn't really hit with me. So I'm interested to see how they carry this movie and if they take that next step up and if they can carry this movie and it be a difference. I am a Jenna Ortega fan. I definitely think or want it selfishly for her to be like the main person in this movie, and not Sam. But I don't know. We'll see. I have a feeling one of those two are gonna die though, as well. For
Yeah,
some
I
reason, I
agree.
just do. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
I
just
yeah.
do. And can we talk about this? I'm gonna bring some images up on the screen. Can we talk
Okay.
about how badass this mask is,
It's so
please?
badass. It's so badass. Like I can't even.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it. I don't know. It's just because we've always seen Ghostface in that very, I guess you could say, pretty clean white mask, and to see it all, grungy. I do got questions though with this mask because obviously in the trailer we see that Sam has this grungy old mask in her purse. It looks like.
Mhm.
So I'm very interested to see like how that plays a factor in it. Is that a mask that she found that is her father's in the past that she was able to get her hands on? I don't know how far in advance this movie takes place from the last time this movie was or Scream 5 was filmed. So I doubt that the mask aged in any type of way, at least especially to that level. So for me, like the first thing that popped into my mind was she got her hands on her dad's old mask in whatever way.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that myself. That makes a lot of sense, honestly, that like something of her dad's would kind of like come back to her in some way. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think my initial thought watching it was like that was a shot from maybe the very end of the movie. Like
True.
she
Yeah.
survived and she was like picking up the mask or whatever. I hope they wouldn't do that, but who the fuck knows? Um,
I know, because she's like she has this darkness that's carried with her, so that makes me wonder
yeah,
too, is she involved in any type of way? And then obviously this is a great shot as well. Um, I don't know, when I saw this, I was like, "Holy shit. Holy
yeah,
shit." Like, can you imagine like just being there and seeing this? Especially for like you think of somebody like Gail who has been there for all of them. Like who
yeah.
would who would fucking collect this shit? And you see all of the other stuff at the very bottom out, below the robes, and I can pick out a couple of things. What do you notice looking at this picture?
I noticed a lot of things because I've stared at this picture a lot.
Please
Um,
share, please.
okay, on the right, if that's Mrs. Loomis's like pantsuit, Stu's
Okay.
robe, and then Billy's white shirt with the big blood stain on the front. And
Very
then
true. Okay.
right next to Billy, or like Billy's shirt, I guess, you
Mhm.
can kind of see the outline of the TV that falls on Stu's head in Scream 1.
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that.
I know. Me either. I had to like look into there and I was like, no way that's the TV. But it is, I think it is because like why else would it be
Oh,
there?
and I'm also like intrigued to like where the hell is this? Like, is this on display for like people to come and see? Is this somebody who's just obsessed and with everything? Like, I don't know. That popped into my head as well. And then we get the obviously the closer shot here of the robes, and there's one in the glass. Any prediction what that is? I mean, because I feel like that's the one that stands out most. My guess would be just looking at it looks like nameplates at the bottom of each of the other ones. So Billy maybe or Stu, one of them.
That's what I think. I think the tag says Billy.
Okay.
I may be wrong. I'm legally blind without my contacts in, but I think it says Billy, and I think it makes sense to have like kind of the OG start. I mean, I know like Stu is also an OG, but like
Yeah. It's Bill.
her,
Yeah.
yeah,
Billy.
it's I
Yeah.
think it's Billy. So I'm interested to see
Yeah.
like everything else.
Yeah, I can't trust me, I cannot make that out at all. I kind of just thought about it the way that you just mentioned it. Like you start off with the OG, you frame the OG, so that's kind of how I'm looking at it, looking at that.
Yeah.
It, loo-
Okay,
it
good.
look
Glad you agree.
Yeah, and it looks like this one in the middle here, it looks kind of smaller. So maybe Jill's robe, who knows? Definitely,
hmm
definitely a smaller robe though. This is what was your favorite shot from or scene from the trailer?
Oh man. Ghostface holding the shotgun and like that shot that I it's all
Yes.
over Twitter, like him like looking down the barrel of the shotgun, amazing. Probably like the complete overview shot of like everything in that room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's great. And I love the shot actually of Jenna Ortega like towards the end
Mhm.
where it looks like maybe she's falling or she's letting go of someone and she's covered in blood
Yes.
and she's like smirking a little bit. I think that's so
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, I agree. Some really, really good shots throughout the trailer. Ones that kind of stuck out to me was this one. Thought that was
Oh
really
yeah.
cool.
How can I forget about that? Like that is so cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. Like, so I'm super excited about that. It looks like daytime too. So like I'm interested to see like just how Ghostface is gonna be in New York, period. Like I think they're gonna really have a good feeling that's just gonna embody the city of New York in a really good, positive way, and that excites me.
Yeah, great,
Because
great
it's
one.
different. And
Mhm.
then but my favorite shot is this one. I
Oh my god.
just this is my favorite, hands down.
There's
This is my favorite.
like he just looks terrifying.
I know, and then, like, the way that they were able to mix the trailer together with the beats and, like, where he's chasing get it's just really good. One of the best
Yeah,
like, it's such a good trailer. They did a really good job.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah, and then just the mask period in general. Hell of a mask, hell of a good job. I'm super excited to see where they go with this. If you could, like, pick one thing that you really want them to hit on in this movie, what would you pick?
I want them to address whether or not, and like this is just me being a fangirl and like listening to shit online, but I want them
Mhm.
to address whether or not Stu is dead. Like I need them to say it. I
Yeah.
know they already said it probably, but like Matthew Lillard, he better follow through or he better shut his mouth because he's already said that maybe Stu's not dead.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I really want like more of I don't know. I don't want to say I want more of like Sam and like her connection to her dad because I really didn't enjoy that plot line.
Yeah.
Um, but I just want to see Ghostface murder some people. I don't think that's a
Yes.
tall order. It's
No,
not a lot to
and in New
ask for.
York, and to be brutal too, and
Yes, yeah,
I think we're gonna get that. It's funny you bring up the whole Sam and her dad's connection because I didn't really like that part either. And I'll be honest with you, when they first showed it in the theater, personally, I didn't think that was him. Oh, what's his
mm,
name? What's his name? Skeet Ulrich. I didn't think it was
yeah.
him at first. I thought they just kind of CGI'd his face a little bit because it looked funny. But no, like I've seen behind the scenes, it's legitly him. It just looked weird for whatever reason. I don't know if they did mess with his face at all or if they tweaked anything. But for me personally, I thought you could tell. Maybe they didn't do anything to it, and I'm just like overreading that.
Yeah, no, I think like maybe they introduced him in a weird way or like technically how they like brought him in.
Yeah,
It's just weird. I mean, you're right. Like it's Skeet Ulrich, but it looks like
it
old Skeet
does.
Ulrich, and I think we're not like ready for that
I think
mentally.
yeah, I think so too. Because obviously he shaved his face to back when he was younger in the first one, and I've seen Skeet in multiple things since then, in
And he
interviews, and
has
he's
the beard.
weird. So it was just maybe it's just that, and it just looks fucking weird because I've seen him so much with the beard now.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So obviously, no Sydney Prescott in this movie. Do you think that gets mentioned more than 5 times in this movie?
Oh, I think it's gonna be under 5 times.
Me too.
I think they're gonna want to like steer away from that as much as possible.
I think so too. I think for me, one of the things that I want to happen personally, I want there to be no definitive ending in
Mm.
this movie. I feel like every Scream movie we've gotten, the killer has died in every single one of them. Died it's Stu in every single one of them. So maybe something different going into into the next movie, because I know for a fact we're getting at least one more from these two directors and writers. So maybe just switch it up a little differently that leads us into the next movie. Um, I don't know, just something different. That's kind of what I would pick. Is that whether it has to do something with Stu that kind of leaves us on the fringe and waiting and excited for it, or if it involves Sydney, whatever it is, just something different to where it's not a definitive ending. Maybe the killer gets away, but again, I know that takes away from the whole you guessing who it's been throughout the entire movie and that big final reveal. So I don't think they'll go differently in that. I think a lot of people look forward to the final reveal, but I don't know. It's just me spitballing shit here.
I mean, like, you have to think about it technically too, and like what makes sense. Because, like you said, there's going to be one more, and
Yeah.
at least from like these writers. But I think they know that they needed to do something different. I mean, that's why they're like moving it to New York City, right? So I really hope you're right, and I really hope that they do something a little bit different. And like, I think there's going to be a reveal. There's got to be a reveal, but maybe something goes wrong, or there's more than one people, which of course, like we've seen all the time. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm
That
excited. I'm excited though. Like, which I can't say I've been excited
yeah.
since the trailer, and like because Scream 5 kind of just dampened all of that for me.
No, I agree. Super excited as well, and I can't wait to just a couple months away now. So I think it's March 10th it comes out, the second week of March, something like that. Second week of March, and here on the podcast, we're going to go through every single movie. Jess is coming for Scream 2 and also the final roundtable as well. I'm assuming you're going opening weekend.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
of course. So can't wait to dive into that. But yeah, Scream 6 trailer was absolutely phenomenal. So I think it's time to get into our main topic for tonight. And that is going to be our top 10 Stephen King adaptations. I feel like you're going to have a lot more grasp on this because just looking behind you, I can see Stephen King books. Let me ask you this. Have you read it, the book? Have you read
I
it?
have, yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
it's right there. Yeah, I have.
You,
I love it.
you, you can give somebody a concussion with that thing.
I have a lot of books that could give people a concussion. I am a reader first and foremost, but yeah, I love
Love
Stephen
that.
King.
So is your favorite book your favorite movie? Let me ask you that.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to ask you your favorite book because
Okay.
obviously that'll give it away. Do you feel like from the books that you've read to the movies in your top 10, do you feel like they've done a really good job adapting to the movie? Because for me, I'm really basically going to be able to speak to the movie. So from the book to the movie, do you feel like they did a really good job in most of them or some of them, just overall, without diving into each and every one of them just yet?
I think because I have read a lot of Stephen King, and I'm familiar with the majority of his works, that movies that are in like my top 10 on this list are going to be pretty faithful to the books because that's what
Love
I've
that.
appreciated. There are one or two that probably deviate that are probably famous for deviating, but we all love them and we all love them for a reason. So I think there'll be one or two that are different, but the majority of them stay pretty true to the source material.
Well, I'm actually glad that you are the guest for this because you can speak more to the book side. I have two Stephen King books, and that's Misery and The Shining. And it's been a long time since I've read them. Like I read the Misery book that I have now. I haven't read out of that one yet. Like I just have it on display because I love the way it looks. I think it's the same one you got, the blue
The
cover.
blue one, yeah, so good.
So gorgeous. It reminds me of like the VHS one. It's just that blue, like snowy type feel. I was like, yeah, I have to get this. But my mom was the one who got me into Stephen King for the most part. She owned a lot of his books. I saw how big it was, and I was like, hard pass. So I'm excited to kind of. I actually really haven't talked to anybody about the books in general, so I'm excited to kind of hear your perspective on that. But so my list is probably definitely going to be different than yours. But let's go ahead and dive into it. Our top 10. We'll go 10 for 10, 10, 9, 9, all the way to 1. So what is your number 10 on your list?
Number 10 on my list is the 2017 adaptation of It, the part one.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah.
What would you love about the movie in general? Because I'll tell you for me, um, I'm trying not to spoil anything. So for me, I was very nervous of them doing this remake, um, because I have
I feel the same
yeah.
way.
Okay, because I have a lot of love for the original, and I know the original was like made as a TV show, but I saw it on VHS as a movie, so it's a movie to me, always a movie. But I was very nervous, but I walked out like hella satisfied. Like I loved it, and I'm obviously you do too. Coming in at year number 10.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really great. What I love so much about it, especially like in the book, I mean, the book, there are some parts of the book that
Yeah.
don't translate over well to screen, and I think a lot of people who have read the books probably can attest to that. That are a little bit creepy to say the least. But the way that they brought in those child actors and the way that they connected so well to Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, who did a fantastic
Yeah.
job. Of course, I love Tim Curry. He is my tried and true. He is my Pennywise. But I feel like Bill Skarsgård put his own spin on it and made it really, from a kid's perspective, it was
Yeah.
terrifying.
No, absolutely. I agree. And I agree with everything that you said. Um, Tim Curry is my it or my Pennywise. So yeah, a lot of reasons to go in nervous about this, but walked out super satisfied. So I'm glad that comes in at your number 10.
Mm.
I feel like I'm starting off very controversial here because I feel like this is a lot of people like very high on a lot of people's list. But number 10 on my list is Carrie.
Okay.
Um don't I can't tell if you're disappointed in that or not, if it's too, whatever. But Carrie comes in at number 10. I thought it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I just feel like there's like anytime anybody brings up Stephen King and his movies, like Carrie is like always mentioned and always up there. So I think I kind of went into this movie with really, really high expectations, and I just kind of walked out of it like it's pretty good. Like, I enjoyed that. So um I don't really have a lot of negative things to say. I enjoyed it. I liked it, but it just wasn't my favorite to where I feel like it is a lot of people's, like very high on a lot of people's. And I feel like that I'm going to disappoint a lot of people with that pick. So,
I don't think you're gonna
um,
disappoint a lot of people with the pick. It's yours. That's why
uh,
it's special.
oh, thank you, Jess. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
So yeah, number 10, Carrie.
I appreciate that. I feel like a lot of people, like you said, wouldn't agree or like wouldn't say the same. I think the reason why a lot of people like it is because it is really true to the book. It is one of
Yeah.
Stephen King's favorite adaptations of his works. Sissy Spacek is iconic, but I do
Mhm.
agree. I mean, it's dated. You know, I think if they were to remake it and like truly remake it with someone
Mhm.
like Mike Flanagan, for instance, like at the
Ooh,
helm, it would be really
yeah.
great. But for what it is, and at the time it's like from what, 76? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I
I get it.
I I watched it for the first time maybe 3 years ago. And then I rewatched it like a week ago because I know we were doing this list. So I kind of just want to refresh my brain with some of those movies that I hadn't seen in a long time. I just for me it just didn't hold up, I feel like. So that's why it was so low on my list.
Yeah, that's valid. I agree with that.
All right, what you got at number 9?
Number 9 is one that the book is probably like, I don't want to say the scariest, but probably like top two scariest books from Stephen King, and that's Pet Cemetery. And that is the 89 version of Pet Cemetery. It's
Yes.
not great. It's not a great movie at all, actually. There are a lot of things that suck about it, but
Oh man.
but it scared the shit out of me, quite
Yeah.
frankly, and I love it. I think it's just like a cult classic.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because I feel the same way about it. I did not get it. Obviously, did not get a chance to read the book, so I can't look at it from that perspective. But what do you feel like? So, did the movie or the book scare you, or both?
The book scared me first. The book scared me more,
Hmm.
but certain aspects of the movie scared me, and I like enjoyed myself watching it because I felt like I knew. It's funny when like you think you know everything and you're like, oh, this
Yeah.
is gonna happen, this is gonna, and then it like it doesn't. and something else happens and you're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So
Hell
that's
yeah.
why I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad you said that because coming in at number 9 is Pet Sematary for me as well.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yes. And I remember I rated this on Letterboxd. And what did I have? I had it at 3, and Kevin messaged me and was like, "Oof." He was so disappointed in me. And I was like, "Oh man, I just just for some reason it didn't really hit with me, and maybe it would hit a little more if I did read the book." But just listening to you, it's just I kind of feel the same way that you do as far as I just don't think it's a great movie. There were some aspects in the movie that did creep me out. Like I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. So, and a few wow moments, especially when his son got hit by the tractor trailer. Like I remember watching that for the first time, and they kind of teased it in the beginning, and I'm like, there's just no way that would happen. There's no way they would just. It's just not going to happen. And then when it happened, I was like, no, they didn't. So like there were some wow moments in the movie as well. So but it's again just not a great movie to me. So comes in at number 9 for me.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Thanks. 8 for you?
8 for me is gonna be Salem's Lot, the Toby Hooper like mini series movie thing.
I've never seen it.
What?
Never seen it.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. It's probably the only one on your list that I have not seen, but I have not seen that at all.
Okay. Is there a reason
Is
like
it?
why?
I just haven't got around to it, to be honest with
Okay.
you. Is it
Okay.
streaming anywhere? If it's streaming, I'm gonna watch. I'll watch it tonight.
I don't know. Why would I know that off the top of my head?
I don't know.
I don't know. Now it's scary as a kid. It's scary as like a teenager, and the book is I think one of the best like vampire novels of all time. I think it's really interesting the way that like he approaches the creature and like the myth that is the vampire. And I think like for a kid or like a teenager to read or watch something like that that's so like relevant is very scary. There's also a scene in it that like everyone always talks about Salem's Lot, and it'll stay with you. So
it's the
check it out.
scene. So is it one of those things when I see it, like I'll know?
Maybe not, but it involves like a window, so I'll give you that.
Okay, that's fair. Sorry
Okay.
to disappoint you on that one.
That's okay. Just watch it and let me know what you think.
No, I will. 100%. 100%. Number 8 for me is a movie that when I was a kid, I watched it and I was just kind of freaked out about it, and that's Children of the Corn.
Mm.
For a lot of reasons. Again, I rewatched it not too long ago. It doesn't have the best rewatch value, but just the fact that they're in this what obviously small town, which I think in real life is like very abandoned, and like I've seen people go to it, and like I would love to visit that, by the way, just for its creepiness and nostalgia. But I thought the movie was really good when I saw it. It scared the hell out of me as a kid. It was one of those movies that stuck with me as well. I think just the fact that seeing these adults be attacked by kids, and when I was a kid, like I really obviously looked up to adults and my dad and all that, and just I don't know, it was just one, I was introduced to horror at a very young age, probably too young than I should have been, but I don't know, I just think it played out really well. I remember the music in this, the um the main character, the main kid, I forgot his name.
Malachi?
Malachi, yes, Malachi. Just like he just fucking freaked me out. Like even to this day, like I just look at him and on screen and the way he yells, Outlander, like just his face. I'm just like, oh man, it's just creepy. Um but so yeah, a lot of that has to do for when I watched the movie. So coming in at number 8 for me is Children of the Corn.
I love Children of the Corn. I think it's a really good pick. I would love to see it remade.
Yes, me too. Oh
But
man,
it would
it
have to
would be
be like,
so good.
yeah,
It'd
I'd
be
love
so
to see it remade. I personally am not like a fan of child-centered horror movies or like horror movies centered on children. I just don't think that's scary to me. But with Children of the Corn, I feel like if you approached it the right way and actually had Like,
Yeah,
what child horror movie do you have where like a kid kills like every adult in the town that they're living in? I just don't think that's like
yeah.
uh I don't know, common. But Malachi, I had a childhood friend. His name was Malachi. So like we would
Really?
chase him around, like saying it in these like demonic voices, like while we were playing Manhunt or something, and he would hate it. But I get it. It's good. It's a really good pick.
First off, you said Manhunt, and I just got a flashback of my childhood, by the way.
You have PTSD.
Yes, I'm not we played Manhunt in high school. Like, I remember, like, going to, like, one of the big neighborhoods and just playing Manhunt, and people would get pissed and the cops would get caught. We'd get the cops called on
Yeah.
us, and then we'd run from like, it was just, yeah, PTSD for sure. But in a good way, I think. I
In a
had a
good
lot of
way.
fun. Like, I look back on it now. I think about how I ran, as much as I did playing that game too. I'm like, yeah, not today.
Yeah.
All right, what's number 7 for you?
Number 7 for me is Carrie. And I know we've already talked about it.
Mhm.
And it's for the same reasons as before. It's very true to the source material. Sissy Spacek's performance is like top tier. There's no beating that. It's actually really sad, I think, the way that Carrie is
Yeah.
abused by basically everyone in her life. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
one of the first like female rage movies that I've ever seen, and it just really stuck with me. So I appreciate it for like nostalgic reasons.
In the book, do they kind of dive into that immediately of her being abused, kind of like they do in the movie, or is that something that's a slow build up?
No, pretty much. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the prose is goes more in depth about her mother and her mother's relationship and why
yeah,
she's treated the way that she's treated, and like kind of goes deeper into like the abuse. So it definitely like unsettles you by how much King really plays on that like
yeah.
toxic dynamic.
Well, again, I've heard him say multiple times too that Carrie is that movie for him that he really
Yeah.
loves. So, I figured that they would kind of go hand in hand and be pretty much alike. Um, so we're on number 7, right?
Yes.
All right, number 7 for me, I have The Mist.
Mm.
Um, Again, a movie that I remember watching very young, and you want to talk about being creeped out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I still like in the mornings, like, I go to work, and if it's ever foggy, I'm like, that's not fog, that's the mist. Like, let's get this shit straight. Like,
Yep.
that's exactly what it is. I just relate everything in my life to horror movies. So, but yeah, I just thought it was really good. Um, I know a lot of people said they don't like the ending of it. I don't know how, if I'm sure it ends kind of the same way in the book. I don't know if you can talk to that more. Um, but it's really fucked up, obviously, what he has to do, and because obviously he thinks there's going to be no end, and of course, as soon as he makes that decision, he's saved, in a sense. So, that was really shocking. I think, one that I wasn't expecting as well. And then all throughout the movie, I just think, the horror is there. If you watch this on surround sound, like the sound design in it is very good. It has really good jump scares. I don't think they overdo it. So this is a movie that I really actually enjoy a lot. So I have The Mist.
Yeah, The Mist is great. I haven't read that one. But I will say it does not end like it does in the movie. The ending's different. And I know
Oh, okay.
Stephen King has come out and said that he wishes he would have thought of that ending because he loves it so much.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so it's cool that like the director kind of took a different path in getting there.
Yeah.
And the fact that like Stephen King admires it and wishes that he would have written it in his own story is pretty cool. So
Oh, yeah, I think that is a hella cool piece because we obviously know Stephen King is not the biggest fan of movies that shy away from his book. So the fact that he was
mm,
able to give that a shout out and really enjoyed that, that's pretty cool to see.
yeah, definitely.
Number 6 for you.
Number 6 for me is Gerald's Game from 2017.
I love that movie.
I do too. I think it's badass.
But you're gonna be disappointed that it doesn't make my list.
No, you're joking. But
I am.
Carrie did,
I'm
and you
not
didn't
joking.
like Carrie? Okay, fine, whatever.
I know, I know. I look at it now and I'm like, I should have did that. I think Gerald's Game would have came in at number 10 for me. Like, even though
Okay.
I love that movie, like, I don't know, I just look it, hmm. I don't know, because even though the rewatch value for Children of the Corn isn't there for me, like I just have so much nostalgia for that movie and
Yeah.
so many memories with that. I'll be honest with you. I watched Gerald's Game twice when it first came out, and then I hadn't seen it in a while. And then, when I was thinking about obviously doing the show and going through this list, I remember going and coming across Gerald's Game, and I was like, it sounds so familiar. Like it just for some reason would not register in my mind. And as soon as the beginning started, I'm like, oh yeah, like this is you want to talk about a mind fucked up a movie. That's pretty mind fucked as well. So very good choice. And if you want to log off now, you're more than welcome to. Um, but no, why do you enjoy this movie?
I think I love Mike Flanagan as a director. I think
Yep.
out of like everyone who has done a King movie, he's done multiple of them and is doing multiple in the future. I think he does them like a really, I don't know, he puts them in a good light. I think that the main actress, I forget her name, but she does a really great job, kind of like conveying a lot of her emotions externally.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, the book is wonderful. The backstory is like harrowing and just like sick and like really fucked up, honestly. But seeing like the degloving scene
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
screen is pretty brutal and gnarly. I love it.
No, it is. Yeah, that's a really good scene. Glad that made your list. So at least one of us can talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, number 6 for me is Christine.
Mm.
Um, I love this movie so much. I think John Carpenter did a really phenomenal fucking job. Like, I think the thing that sticks out to me, well, one, when I learned what it was about, I was like, a killer car, like, because that's kind of what I got in the beginning. I'm like, I don't know about that, but like, one, just to see the power that it took over Arnie's character was really intriguing. Seeing his arc going from quote unquote nerd that gets picked on in school to this, you know, possessed, whatever you want to call him, to where he is just all he cares about is that damn car. And I don't know, I just think the character arc in him is done so well, and I think John Carpenter catches so many great shots in this movie. Again, the sound design score is really good as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Christine at number 6. I love it.
I love that pick. Such a good one.
Yeah.
Christine, like, I don't know. I feel like it's on half of people's like best of Stephen King's list, and then half the other people haven't even seen it. And it's
Yeah.
such a travesty because it's such a good one. I love that pick.
And you get the best of both worlds, in my opinion, because you get the story of Stephen King and the directing and writing pretty much from John Carpenter. So like perfect in my opinion.
What more could you ask for,
I know,
honestly?
right? Like
Uh,
that's like a horror person's dream. And I love that you love Mike Flanagan, by the way. I meant to say that because I think he is phenomenal. Like amazing. Like there's so many things that I would love to see him do, and things that I really think that he could do, take like a project that he could take on and just like do phenomenal with it.
yeah, I agree. He's leaving Netflix and he's going to,
Yeah.
I think it's Hulu. Is it Hulu? Is it Paramount Plus?
Amazon,
Maybe, I don't
Amazon.
know. Is it? Wow.
Amazon. Yeah.
Um, but he is taking over Stephen King's Dark Tower series, which is
I saw
like,
that.
I love horror, but my heart is with fantasy books. That's
Mhm.
like kind of like my start and what I love so much. And the Dark Tower
Love that.
series is so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mike Flanagan is like the best person to do it. And I think that's just going to be like an epic, epic, epic series when it comes out. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
I can tell. I was about to say.
Yeah, I could talk about it forever. So gotta move
Love
on.
that. All right, so we're getting into our top 5 now. What do you have at number 5?
Number 5, I have the It miniseries. I love it.
Um, what do you feel like that you love more from the miniseries compared to the remake?
I just feel like Tim Curry brings such like a presence to it. I feel like with the remake, it is more so like a movie about the kids. And while like I love that, I feel like the miniseries is more about Pennywise,
Mhm.
and that's what scares me the most. Also, I just feel like the whole '90s vibe, the way it was shot, like
Yes.
it just feels correct to me. Like I don't know, it's something about like I know the other one is set in the correct time period, but like it's too
Mhm.
glossy.
It
The one
is
from the '90s
100%.
is like grimy and gritty, and that's like it's
Yes.
just a vibe. I love it.
I love it so much as well. Like, I own it on VHS and Blu-ray, and I'll probably buy it if it comes on 4K again. But I'm also like, I don't want it to be on 4K and it take away that graininess as well,
Yeah.
because I think that is, to your point, a very huge reason why I love it as well. Like, it just fits. Like, I love that. I don't know. It just feels like it's back in the day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even
Yep.
sooner before the '90s. So, very good pick. Number 5 for me, I'm gonna go with Doctor Sleep. Um,
Nice.
ag- Again, Mike Flanagan, absolutely phenomenal. And what like really crushes my heart with this movie like just kind of flopped in the theater. I thought the marketing wasn't that good. Like Mike Flanagan deserves a lot better, first off, than what he got result wise from this movie. But like the movie itself, I just think is so fucking good and so fucking phenomenal. Obviously I didn't get a chance to read the book, and I read The Shining very like I read obviously read The Shining, but like I remember seeing the movie The Shining, and the first few times I saw it, one I was so young, I didn't know exactly what was kind of going on, and I feel like when I saw Doctor Sleep, in my opinion, explained exactly what The Shining was in a way better way, for you to understand it in a movie. Obviously the book does, but as far as movie wise, I just felt like even though I love The Shining, I just don't think that it explained exactly what it was compared to Doctor Sleep. And I just thought Doctor Sleep was phenomenal in its own right as well. Again, another movie that was a sequel to I feel like one of my favorites. So I was got a little nervous, but they did a really good job with it. It just sucks for me. Like it just sucks for Mike Flanagan because I feel like he deserved a lot better. Because if this movie would have got the correct marketing, I don't know. I watched it again not too long ago. So damn good. So um,
Mhm.
that's gonna be. I can go on and on about it. So I'm gonna shut up. But Doctor Sleep is my number 5 pick.
No, I love it. I love Doctor Sleep. It might make an appearance on my list a little later.
Nice, nice.
The book is fantastic, as is the movie, and I agree with you. Like, it deserves so much more hype. And I feel like now, like, maybe it's getting a little bit more, but at the
Yeah.
time, it sucks to see it like do so bad in theaters when really like it's a wonderful movie.
It is. It is. And I love the fact that they were able to obviously tell their own story, but like still paid homage to The Shining as well. Um,
Hmm.
like going back to the Overlook, I thought that was done so well. Um, but yeah, really, really good movie. What is number 4 on your list?
Number 4 on my list is actually Christine.
Nice. Love
Yes.
that.
So yeah, I mean like I agree with everything that you said. I think it is like such a I don't know. You tell people like I watched the thing with
Yeah.
my best friend. I watched the thing with my best friend the other night, like
Mm,
her first time, and she was like, that was so good. She gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd, and she was like, okay, like
nice.
what's up next? I'm like, okay, well if you like that and you like Carpenter, we gotta watch Christine. She's like, what's that? I was like, it's a movie about like killer car. She's like, you got to be fucking me. So we're working our way up to that. It's not a great reaction to get from people, but it's a kick-ass movie. I love like the '50s vibe,
Yeah.
like you were saying, Arnie turns from like this nerd to like a greaser, and like the sound and music elements are very like reminiscent of the '50s. I don't know. It's a Carpenter movie based off of a Stephen King book. I don't know what else you could ask for.
Yeah. So
Also,
damn good.
it's creepy. Like
Yes, yes.
you like hear like oh killer car. It's actually damn good. And Christine is psycho, and it's great. It's just good.
Yeah, very good pick. Did you get to watch the movie with her?
No, not yet. I will. I'm gonna
Okay.
force her.
Yeah, you should. I mean, but she should trust you after the thing now. You know what I mean?
I
It's like,
know. I know.
Really good pick. So number 4 for me is going to be the remake, It from 17. For all the reasons that you said. I love the kid cast. I thought they did a really good job incorporating them, and then just their chemistry with Bill Skarsgård was phenomenal. I thought Bill did an absolutely phenomenal job. I feel like I'm just repeating everything that you said, but um, Tim Curry again is my Pennywise. But if I feel like if anybody to fill that role next, I thought that Bill Skarsgård did a really good job at doing that. And I think that one thing that I really love about this movie is with this Pennywise, I feel like that they made it their own. Like I feel like from
Mm.
jump, like this Pennywise was always dark. He always looked mean and he always looked scary compared to Tim Curry's It clown or Pennywise. I feel like he had that nicer side that really attracted the young children in, and then obviously we know what happens. But they did a really good job. And then again, for all the reasons that you said, it's number 4 on my list.
Yeah, love that. Great pick. I'm glad we're in agreement on liking the miniseries and the remake. I think it's good. Not so much
Yeah.
a fan of like the part two
Not at
um
all. Not really.
remake. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely like the kid cast a little bit better. But
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, now we are on our pedestal picks or
yeah.
podium picks, I should say. Top 3. What is number 3 for you?
Number three for me is Doctor Sleep. For all the reasons, like you said, it's amazing. It's terrifying, that scene of Jacob Tremblay when like Rose the Hat has him pinned down. You've got to be. I can't believe they like.
Yes.
I can't believe that made it in the theaters. Honestly, that was fucked. And that little kid did amazing. Like,
Yes, I
what
know.
a great
I know.
actor.
Yeah.
Honestly. Um, but yeah, I'm such a fan. I think as like a few more years to come, it'll be more like widely recognized as a good one.
As it
And I hope
should be.
so. Yeah, as it should be. It puts some respect on its name. But yeah, I love Dr. Slate. But what is your number three?
Uh Misery is number 3 on my list.
Nice.
Um how first off, I just thought that they did a really good job from the book to the movie. And honestly, I feel like if anybody could play Annie Wilkes, it was Kathy Bates. Is it Kathy Bates? Yes, Kathy Bates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like perfect. Like like that's who I pictured. I don't know if I could picture anybody else. And obviously I just think she embodied that role, and it's just it taps into one just the isolation part, and obviously for Paul, he's just stuck in the bed, can't move for the longest time. And, just the fact that Annie you think she's this sweet person at first, and then that obviously changes. And then, like, that one night, when it's storming, she walks into the room and she's like, I have a gun. I may think about using it. And then walks out. Like, that's just like creepy in itself. And you can just see the fear on his face. And I just thought it was such a damn good movie. The rewatch value on it is phenomenal. And it's just one of my favorites, period. So that's number 3 on my list.
Love Missouri. I love it. I
Yes.
fucking love it. 10 out of
Number
10.
number 2 for you?
Number two for me is The Shining. The
Nice.
Shining. I know. As someone who like loves the books and like loves The
Yeah.
Shining, it's very weird, but I don't think you're going to meet anyone who says they dislike Kubrick's rendition other than
Yeah.
Stephen King himself.
Stephen King.
So, yeah. It's great. It's fucking great. Like, it's a horror Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jack Nicholson is terrifying. I would be terrified to meet that man in real life, I think.
Yeah. I know, right?
I would be scared he would like bite me or something. Like he just gives
And
off
it
that like a feral.
and it's crazy because I've seen him in like way more comedy movies, but still,
Yeah.
when I think of him, it's always The Shining, and I think about, yeah, it's good pick, really good movie.
What's your number two?
The miniseries, so good. It was I have like a lot of love for this movie. It was the first horror movie I ever saw as a kid. I was at my uncle's house. He introduced me to the movie. And it just creeped me the fuck out. And it's just all the credit goes to Tim Curry. And I think one of the big reasons was one, he's just phenomenal, but two, like the way that Pennywise is able to bring the kids in, like starts off happy and loving and obviously turns like just like that, flip a switch and he turns into that mean horror where he's like ripping and biting your fucking arm off. So
Yeah.
I think that's why one, I gravitate towards that a little bit, or to his character or a little bit more as far as Pennywise for that reason as well. And then I just, again, being the first horror movie I ever saw, there's a lot of sentimental value to it with me. I think the rewatch value on it is great. I absolutely adore the kid cast in this movie. I thought that they all fit perfectly. Like one of my favorite scenes in the movie is not even like a scary horror scene. It's when they're all down at the barracks building the dam, and that song comes on, and it's just reminded me of like being a kid again, playing outside with my friends. And yeah, just a lot of really good moments in that for me. And I tell you, like one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life is having Brandon Crane on my podcast, who played Ben
That's
from
so
It.
cool.
Like I was like, once, I don't really get nervous talking to people, but I got nervous talking to him. Like I was like, I don't want to fuck up, I don't want to say the wrong thing, and he was just like super cool, and I was just like such a cool moment for me. Like I don't know, it was just I love this movie for so many reasons. I'm surprised it's not number one, honestly, but there's a reason why it's not number one. So the miniseries is number two for me.
I love it. It deserves to be on everyone's like at least top 5. So
Yes. Okay. I am excited to know your number one.
my number 1 is Misery.
Yes.
Yeah. My favorite book by Stephen King. My favorite movie. You need to read the book. It doesn't need to just be like a centerpiece. You actually have to like open it and read it. The book is even more brutal than the movie. Just like the way that Annie treats Paul, and like you're totally right. She is the perfect adaptation of Annie Wilkes. Like there's no greater actress to do it other than her. Like from the book to the screen, it's just like 10 out of 10. James Caan, same thing. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, and it's like such like a winter comfort movie to me now.
It is, yeah.
I will voluntarily like watch it over The Shining, and I think that like kind of helped me choose like when I was choosing between one or two. But Misery, I'll watch over and over and over again. Shining takes like 10 years off my lifespan every time I watch it.
So one very good pick. I love that that's your number one. Is that your favorite Stephen King novel?
Yes. Yep. Okay. It is.
Love that. I love how that worked out.
I know, it's perfect.
Number one for me is The Shining. It's one of those movies that honestly, it kind of reminds me of Hereditary. Like no matter how many times I've seen it and how many times I watch it, I still get goosebumps, and it still scares me at times. It's like one of those movies that like if I turn all the lights off, like it still creeps me out. The isolation piece of it, how Jack Nicholson just changes into what he changes into over time, and then really just I like there's this, I think it's like close to an hour behind the scenes on YouTube, like of that movie, and like they show cut scenes to where he's cutting down the door, and like how he's like preparing for that scene, like he's banging on his head and jumping up and down, and just seeing that, and like them getting into him getting into that mind frame was just crazy to see, and it translated over into onto the screen. So it's number one. It's deservingly number one or two. Like it definitely should be in people's top for sure. I just think I just think it's a masterpiece. It's my second favorite horror movie of all time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Totally agree. Even like the sound design of when like Danny is riding his like big wheel through like the hallways, and it's like carpet and then like floor and then carpet and floor. And I just think like everything about it is like so smart.
Yeah. I love that.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks that Stephen King didn't like it. I mean, it's not like it's one of the furthest adaptations from the book, but it's so fucking good. And have you seen the documentary Room 237?
No, I have not.
So check it out. I don't know like I think I watched it on YouTube, but it's basically like a fan made, but it's like really, really popular, like a fan made documentary on all of the like conspiracy theories and like fan theories behind like Kubrick's The Shining and like
Oh
why
wow.
he did certain things. So highly recommend checking that out. It was really entertaining. Like the whole like thing with him using some of the imagery to say that he like filmed the moon landing or whatever, like that
Yeah.
shit's in it too. It's just
Oh
it's really
shit.
goofy and fun.
No, I'm gonna have to definitely check that out. I definitely heard like from Shelley Duvall, like it was very hard working on that set and working
Yeah.
with Kubrick. Like it was very hard to go through. I hadn't seen or heard from her in a really long time, and she popped up on YouTube the other day. Like she was doing an interview. Um, but yeah, I thought she did a really good job in that movie with her cigarette and her ash that never fell off.
Iconic.
Yeah, super iconic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because I love documentaries and behind the scenes stuff and like conspiracy theories and what was this and what was that. So I appreciate you recommending that because I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, please do. It's such a good watch. Let me know what you think.
I will. So that wraps up our 10. We got through it. Most disappointing from my list. I have to know.
Okay. The fact that you haven't seen Salem's Lot.
Oh, okay. I figured that's what it was gonna
Um,
be.
yeah. Sorry. That is
No, you don't
just
have to apologize. Like I love that. Like I love the hate. I love the hate.
okay.
Deserving hate
Great.
because I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
Okay. Give me my hate. What was my most disappointing?
Um, I can't say I have one, honestly. Every movie that you picked outside of Salem's Lot was on my list. Well, no, Children of the Corn was it? Was it?
Children of the Corn was not on my list. Gerald's Game wasn't on your list.
True. So, Children of the Corn, you said you really loved it, but that wasn't on your list.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't have that like nostalgic
Yeah.
connection with it that you do.
Which is very understandable because, like I said, the rewatch value just isn't there. At least when I rewatched it. Oh, The Mist wasn't on yours either.
Oh yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate you on that because you at least you have Gerald's Game in there, and I can't speak to Salem's Lot, so I guess I really don't have no room to hate. So,
It
well,
evens out.
yeah, well, I'll watch Salem's Lot and let you know, like, if you deserve any hate for that. But
Okay. Don't hate me if you hate it.
I'm not gonna hate you. I mean, I watched The Thing finally. Like, you should be proud of me for that.
Yeah, it took long enough. I don't know. I'm not proud of you because it took way too fucking
Yeah,
long, but
way
I'm
too
glad
long.
that you liked it.
100%. So, what are a couple honorable mentions for you? Obviously, mine for me would be Gerald's Game. Um, And yeah, I'll probably just go with Gerald's Game.
I think The Mist would be on there. I think shoot, there are so many.
Oh, you're a Creep Show
Hold
fan?
on. I actually had a list. Creep Show. Yeah, Creep
Yeah,
Show, Dead Zone.
that sounds
Um,
good.
I don't know if 1408 would be considered like horror, but I really love that one.
It's really good,
Um,
bro.
very, very good. So I think, yeah, that's about it. But Creep Show,
Yeah,
Dead Zone, The Mist,
yeah,
classic King.
yeah. He's got it. I was just sitting there thinking about it like the other night, like putting together my list and looking at his movies and his like stories and book. Like, can you imagine fucking catalog? Like the king of horror. Like his catalog is fucking unreal.
Yeah, it's insane. I want to like just live in his head for I could probably only last an hour, but I'd sign up
Yeah.
for 24 hours. It's crazy. I would love to be able to like come up with shit like that off the top of my head, but only one man is right for the job, and the job's already taken. So
Deservingly so. When I had
yeah.
Brandon on, he was telling me that when they did a convention up north and they went to Maine and like visited like his house, and then like there's a tour up there that you can take to where it takes you to where he got like the inspirations for Pet Cemetery and it, and like I
Mm.
was just like, I have to do that. Like that's like a must do for me before I die. Like that would be
Yeah,
so cool.
definitely like a bucket list thing for
Yeah,
sure. That'd be really
yes.
cool.
And his house as well, like that just looks creepy in itself.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm jealous.
Well, Jess, that's gonna wrap up the show. I appreciate you coming on. Where can everybody follow you online, Letterbox, whatever you want to share?
Yeah, of course. So my YouTube and my Instagram and Twitter are all discount Final Girl, and then my letterbox is actually Disco Final Girl, like
Yeah.
disco, because I didn't have enough characters. But yeah, follow me on that. Keep up with me. I'm sure I would love to have you join our little community. So thanks for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation. This was really cool.
Yeah, had a blast. Appreciate you coming on. And if you want more Jess, head over to her YouTube, check her out. Great videos, and she will be on the road to Scream 6. So
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
can't wait.
yeah, that's gonna be a blast. All right, Jess, appreciate you coming on. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're listening on YouTube, and you can also follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. That's gonna wrap up episode 35 of the Take One podcast, and I will see you all next week.